Welcome back to Deciphering Zodiac, a chronicle of terror brought to you by History and Crime. In this third episode, titled The Lake Herman Road Murders, I am your host, Tammy D. Disclaimer: the following content contains graphic descriptions of violence, murder, and other criminal activities. Listener discretion is advised. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of myself, Tammy D, the creator, and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organisation, employer, or company. The information presented in this podcast is based on historical sources and research, but it is not intended to be a definitive account of the events or the people involved. As the creator of this podcast, I do not endorse or condone any of the actions or behaviours depicted in the true stories. The purpose of this podcast is to educate and entertain, not to glorify or sensationalise crime. Let us delve into the chilling details of the first confirmed attack of the Zodiac killer. On the fateful night of December 20th, 1968, the tranquility of Lake Herman Road, a secluded lover's lane in Benicia, California, was shattered by a brutal act of violence. The bodies of David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen were discovered, their lives tragically cut short in what would become the first chapter of a horrifying saga. The crime scene painted a chilling picture. David was found near the rear wheel of the station wagon, his final moments possibly spent in a desperate struggle. Betty Lou was several feet away, her position suggesting a futile attempt to escape the attacker. The stark reality of their final moments is a haunting reminder of the brutality of their assailant. Investigators found shell casings from a .22 caliber hand weapon at the scene, a grim testament to the sudden and brutal nature of the attack. The killer had likely approached the car, catching the victims by surprise in their moment of vulnerability. The fact that Betty Lou was found further from the car indicated a desperate attempt to escape, adding a layer of terror to the unfolding narrative. Despite the tireless efforts of the investigators, the crime scene yielded few significant leads. The killer had left behind a sparse trail, and the clues that were found only served to deepen the mystery. The senseless violence of the murders, coupled with the lack of a clear motive, sent shockwaves through the community and puzzled the investigators. But who were David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, and what brought them to Lake Herman Road that night? David Faraday was a 17-year-old senior at Vallejo High School, where he was a popular and well-liked student. He was active in the school band, the chess club, and the drama club. He had a keen interest in science and engineering and aspired to become a nuclear physicist. He was also a devout Christian and attended the First Presbyterian Church of Vallejo. Betty Lou Jensen was a 16-year-old junior at Hogan High School, where she was a bright and cheerful student. She was a member of the school choir, the pep club, and the Future Teachers of America. She enjoyed reading, painting, and playing the piano. She was also a devout Christian and attended the same church as David. David and Betty Lou had met through their church activities and had developed a mutual attraction. They had gone on a few group outings before, but this was their first official date. They had planned to attend a Christmas concert at their church, followed by a visit to a friend's house. However, they decided to skip the concert and head straight to the friend's house, where they stayed until around 9 p.m. They then left the friend's house and drove along Lake Herman Road, a rural road that connected Benicia and Vallejo. Lake Herman Road was a popular spot for young couples to park and enjoy some privacy away from the prying eyes of parents and authorities. The road was surrounded by rolling hills, fields, and a reservoir. It was a quiet and peaceful setting, ideal for romance. However, little did they know that someone was lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. Someone who had a twisted and sinister agenda. Someone who would soon become known as the Zodiac Killer. But what was the motive behind this senseless and brutal crime? This is one of the most perplexing questions that has haunted the investigators and the public for decades. The killer did not rob or torture the victims. He did not seem to have any personal connection or grudge against them. He did not leave behind any clear clues or evidence that could link him to the crime. He simply shot them and left, as if it was a random and impulsive act. However, some theories and speculations have emerged over the years, trying to explain the possible reasons behind the murders. Some of these are: the killer was a thrill seeker who enjoyed the adrenaline rush and the sense of power that came from killing. He chose Lake Herman Road because it was a secluded and dark spot where he could easily surprise and overpower his victims. He did not care about who they were. He just wanted to kill for fun. The killer was a psychopath who had a deep-seated hatred and contempt for humanity. He chose Lake Herman Road because it was a symbol of love and happiness, something that he lacked and despised. He wanted to destroy the innocence and joy of the young couple and make them suffer. He did not care about who they were. He just wanted to kill for spite. The killer was a drug addict who was under the influence of a hallucinogenic substance. He chose Lake Herman Road because he was wandering aimlessly, looking for a fix or a thrill. He mistook the couple for someone else or imagined that they were a threat to him. He did not care about who they were. He just wanted to kill for delusion. The killer was a cult member who was following a ritual or a commandment. He chose Lake Herman Road because it was a sacred or a cursed site, according to his beliefs. He believed that he was fulfilling a prophecy or a duty by sacrificing the couple to his deity or his leader. He did not care about who they were. He just wanted to kill for faith. These are just some of the possible theories that have been proposed, but none of them have been conclusively proven or disproven. The truth may never be known unless the killer himself confesses or is caught. The mystery remains unsolved and the motive remains elusive. That concludes episode 3 of our series. In our next episode, we will delve into the Zodiac's first letters to newspapers, including his infamous ciphers, adding another layer to this complex mystery. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey through the chronicle of the Zodiac Killer. Until next time, stay safe, keep the lights on, and continue to join us as we navigate the dark corridors of history and crime. Remember, in the words of George Santayana, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it.